Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek at Origins 2017. I'm sitting down with Scott Tepper from Rio Grande Games, and you brought us the Orient Express.
Yes. So this is an update to the Transamerica 20th Century Limited by Carl and Jeff Porter. There's some changes. If people are familiar with Transamerica, this is a little bit meatier game. So Transamerica is more family. This is going to take it up a level in terms of complexity.
Transamerica, nice little box. I'd say probably about 30 minutes.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Right. Okay,
No, it's about 30 minutes.
We're looking for something a little bit meatier.
This is meatier. This is going to be an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay.
Are you going to hold this the entire time? I mean, it's a nice backdrop,
but
I feel bad for you if you feel like you have to do that.
That's an excellent segue for me not to hold it anymore.
Okay. So, similarly to Transamerica, what you're trying to do is create routes and score victory points for doing so, but there's a few different ways to do that and get victory points during the game. The basic mechanism, on your turn, you can lay 1, 2, or 3 tracks on the board, or you can take 1, 2, or 3 of your tracks off the board. And everybody has, you can see there's multiple, you have your own colored tracks. You also have 10, we call them entry waivers, that allow you to break a little bit of rules. We'll talk about that in a second. So for one of my turns, I might play 1 track here, 1 track here, 1 track there. Doesn't do me much good right now, but I could do that if I wanted to. Why do I want to lay tracks, Beth?
Thanks for the segue, Scott.
Because
making my job easy.
At the beginning of the game, I will draw 10 cards, and I have a choice of how I want to draw them. We've got passenger cards, and we're going to put these out so people can see them, right?
Move your tracks for a moment.
We will have these 4 of them on view for players during the game. They can always draw from a face-up passenger card or from the face-down passenger card pile. So at the beginning of the game, you'll draw 5 cards. Okay, you can draw them any combination of passenger cards or regional cards. Now, the regional cards are all face-down, and if you notice, they're color-coded. And for the colorblind, they are
symbols.
They're
I'm going to
symbols.
just put out an example or two here next to our passenger cards.
These tend to be grouped in regions by that. So, I'm not even going to try to say that. But there's 2 purple and 1 black city.
Things in Russia.
So they're generally grouped, which doesn't mean they have to be exclusively in that region. Okay. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to start with 5 of them. You generally want to try to complete or connect the cities on, let's say, say I had this passenger card and I wanted to work towards completing it. If I can make some sort of connection with my track or with my track and other players' tracks, as soon as there is a connection between all the cities, it doesn't have to be a straight line, it can be convoluted, I can complete this card and put it in my scoring pile. Okay? If I use other players' track, I must give them an entry waiver for each track I use. The most, I can give it to multiple players to do so during my turn, but the most I can give during my turn is 5 to 1 specific player. I can give 3 to you, 2 to another player to complete it. But at the end of the game, these cubes, whatever I have left over, are worth 1 victory point each. So something to keep in mind, they generally are traded frequently during the game because you want people to use your track as well. But keep in mind, you're giving up a victory point to use somebody else's track. So those are the passenger cards.
And I'm guessing, since there was variable amounts of points on those, that the harder it is to complete, correspondingly, the more points you're going to get.
Again, you're such a good gamer. You're absolutely right. They have variable costs. Usually the easier ones score less victory points. Okay. The regional cards are a little bit different. When you complete a regional card, you can still pay to use other people's tracks to do so, but if you complete a regional card, you pull up all of your track that you use to complete it. So generally what you want to do strategy-wise is complete a bunch, lay track, try to complete as many passengers routes as you can, cards as you can, and then play a regional one to bring your track back. Otherwise, you can only remove track 1, 2, or 3 pieces on your turn. Okay? So this is what you're trying to do during the game. Now, the first time a player scores a regional or completes a regional card, they get to take one of these bonus point markers. So the first one to complete a France regional card, they'll take the 4-point bonus marker. So that'll be 4 victory points from at the end of the game. The next person who completes a yellow one will take the 2.
Down they go.
The third, right, down they go. The third person to complete a yellow regional card will get 1 victory point. This is the timer to time the game. So the game ends when either any 6 regions have all their markers removed, or the 1 and 2 markers have been removed from all the regions. So that triggers the end of the game. Everyone gets the same number of turns in this game. So if it's triggered on that player's turn, we will finish so that everyone has equal number of turns. And then we will calculate victory points. Victory points are a combination of all the routes you've scored, both the passenger cards and regional cards. 1 victory point for each entry waiver marker that you have at the end of the game. And these tokens that you've acquired for playing regional cards. In addition, the passenger cards have a little design on them at the top. And so if you are smart enough, which I am not to, as you're collecting or choosing passenger cards.
So yeah, I'm going to lay these out here so people can see. It's this little curvy slice we're talking about.
There's a bunch of different patterns, and those will score bonus points as well. So that might help you in terms of strategy of the passenger cards you're choosing. Because if you have 1 of a design, you get 1 victory point, 2 gives you 4, 3, 9 victory points squared as you increase. Set collection as well to add on to that. That is...
I was going to say, and pretty much everything you need to know is right there on that player aid.
Correct. The only other thing, there's a couple... If we want to know everything so that people can play the game after watching this, is if you look at some routes, these are...
Ocean-bound routes?
Yes. So for the most of those, for you to lay a track there, you have to spend 1 of your entry waivers out of the game to do that. And we have over here the channel, okay, to go from Great Britain. And when you do that, you can only do that once the first 2 British Isle regional markers, because it's over time, progression of time.
Later
you can't do it later development. After the first 2 markers are gone, only then can somebody lay a channel. They put 2 markers, and they have to give away an entry waiver as well. This cannot be removed. Once it's down, these cannot be removed. And there's 3 markers here. You could do here, or there. No one else can lay any more channel, and these can't be removed for the rest of the game.
All right, I have only one other thing to ask you, which it looks like we have a couple specialty cards down here.
So this is another addition as well. We have some bonus cards. There's 3 groupings of them, and we will draw 1 from each of the bonus card piles at the beginning of the game. So these will be out the entire game. During the game, it's possible to fulfill one of these. So if you fulfill it, you automatically can take it and put it in your pile.
Points?
One of their bonus victory points. One of them is an end game bonus victory point. So it's not scored till the end of the game as well. I didn't tell you too is you can fulfill 1 card on your turn. At the end of the turn, you can draw another card. You can choose to get it from a passenger pile or a regional pile as well.
And that, I think, is literally everything you need to know.
I think it is, absolutely.
I think that's testament to how easy Transamerica is to learn that even here, the beefier version, literally you explained it in its entirety when that's how easy it is to learn.
Yeah.
So, well, Scott, thank you for bringing that by. And if you guys want to check that out, that is the Orient Express, which is the new and improved, beefier cousin to Transamerica. And from Rio Grande Games, and Scott, thank you again.
My pleasure, Beth. Thank you for letting me talk about it.